Skadoosh. Joey Moss, Bad Boy MTG, thanks for tuning in. We have a lot to talk about today. Boris colors for sure. They were spilled all up on us. We got a lot of rares to go over and some mythics. Hence why I'm wearing the red hair today with the white shirt. And this white shirt, my buddy Chris hooked me up with yesterday. He randomly just dropped by. He said, I got something for you. I'm like, all right, man. And this is what it was. Death Row Records, real quick. Hip-hop. Back in the day, rap, the gangsta rap, that the parents didn't like people listening to or the kids listening to, I got Tupac, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Suge Knight, the ringleader there. But little information, not many people may know this, but Death Row Records was purchased by Hasbro. That's right. A toy company now owns Death Row Records. Anyway, moving along, let's get up into Strixhaven. Thanks, Chris, for doing that. We got ourselves Venerable, a War Singer, not War Slinger, which, I guess you could sling some more. But anyway, 3-drop Boris color, Spirit Cleric. This one is interesting. Not sure how great it is, but, there is a lot of fun you can have with it. The Vigilance Trample, whenever a Venerable War Slinger deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of damage Venerable War Singer dealt to that player. This combo is just crazy with a whole bunch of stuff, but just a few things to rattle off here. And if you're looking on Arena, basically, it's standard and historic. And I'll get a little bit of Commander. You got Morag, Fury of Akum, allowing you to take extra turns. Sometimes you can take 2 extra turns, depending on how much land has hit the battlefield, that turn. But that's amazing. Something else you want to do with this is give the card double strike. Something like Embercleave would be phenomenal to mix with the card. And then you also have Combat Celebrant, which allows you to take extra turns. That's found in Historic. Anything that allows you to get extra turns is really going to benefit with Venerable War Singer. Because, that when it deals that damage, if you can give it double strike, it'll deal then 6 damage just by itself if it got through unblocked in a beautiful, perfect world. But remember, it does have trample already built into it. So if they try to chump block, a 1/1, you still get 5 of that damage through if you gave this thing double strike. And with Kaldheim, there are cards that do just have double strike on them. And there's there's not just creatures, but there's also instants as well. Or is there a sorcery? One of the two. But nonetheless, that's pretty neat. So double strike, extra turns is what you're going for with that card. Or making it larger as well. That would help a little bit too. Then you have stuff like Breath of Fury, Najila, the Blade Blossom, and Aurelia, the War Leader. All of these which allow you to get extra combat phases, And a really interesting one here is Breath of Fury. Enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and attach Breath of Fury to a creature you control. If you do, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. So that would be some fun, And then you got Naila. This would go actually really good in another card as well. We're gonna get to it in 1 second. But then really the War Leader. You guys are all hip, if not already, with Commander. So I'm not gonna break them all down what they do, but the ability just to get yourself more extra turns is amazing, and then returning more creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield. Just you keep that going until your opponent just dies. Not that you're going to be able to do it forever, but a couple times you can win out a match, man. Then we have ourselves Velamkus. Am I saying that right? Velamkus Lorehold. That's a mouthful, huh? It almost looks like he's like, instead of breathing fire, he's like shooting out these stone tablets or something out of his mouth. This is a big boy, Elder Dragon. This is the second Elder Dragon we have been blessed to see. 7-drop Boris colors, legendary creature. It's got Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. I have to give props for it having haste. You'll understand why when I read the ability on this thing. Whenever Velamkus, sure, whatever, Lorehold attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to Lorehold's power from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Again, this would be something Where if you could do the extra turns, I mean, a lot of things, would be kind of similar, to running stuff like this, kind of. But other things you can do with this that I think would be great. It would slot in beautifully in a Kalia the Vast build, for sure. Not only that, but Armageddon. Just think of you play Armageddon after you get this thing on the battlefield. You got a bunch of crap in your graveyard already, and you just destroy everyone's lands. You just knock everyone's lands out the game, right? And then you got Lorehold over here that's just like, well, we're going to keep reoccurring these instants and sorcery spells we used up throughout the game. And, hey, if even crazier, let's say you even maybe got yourself your Venerable Warsinger, then you keep reoccurring all your creatures throughout the game, too. Of course, you're going to have to find a way to make sure your opponents don't have any creatures, but to get the damage through. But the fact that you're going to just take out all the lands in the game, you should be able to close out the game rather quickly. With some instants and sorcery spells that you can pull out of your bag of tricks in the graveyard. Then you got Sunforger, which is going to love this card because you can just smack it right onto your Drago, and now it's +4/+0, and you can bring back just about whatever spell, whatever instant and sorcery spell you want to with it. Very, very fun to play with all that. Not only this, but then we have stuff like Lorehold Command. Where is this going to fit in Standard? It seems like Wizards is going the route where instead of giving card draw to white, what they're doing is giving them recursion. You're going to see, I think, we're going to see a lot more of that. But bringing back a card from the graveyard, putting it back on the field, a lot of that, or getting it instant back into your hand, or playing it for free. That's like replacing the card draw, It wasn't always like this. We have seen it quite a bit, but now we're getting a heavy dose of this recursion stuff, especially in the Boris colors, And white by itself also, you're going to notice, does a pretty good job when we get to it. One moment. Lorehold Command. I don't want to get too far to myself. Then we got Lorehold Command, which we already spoiled this card, but there's a lot of fun little tricks on here. It does have 5 in its mana cost there. I can't say converted mana cost. In its mana value. Let's try to be correct. Ironcrag Feet is another one, This probably would go in there and just so you could ramp up to even get the darn dragon on the field. And then you can even... Wait, can you do it again? You can cancel... That stinks. So you couldn't even do this if you wanted to. You couldn't play it twice, but at least it would ramp up into it. And then next turn, you can use that mana again... or not that you can use the Ironcrag Feet again the following turn and repeat the process because you don't exile it. So if you got through with the damage, Rip Apart is a new card. Deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, destroy target artifact or enchantment. I think that's an amazing card. It's going to see a lot of play in a lot of decks. If you're running Boris, you are you are 100% running Rip Apart unless you want to lose. So, and that's in the current Standard. So we did get quite a few new cards here that are looking pretty spicy, baby. But I don't know how good they're going to be in Standard, though. That first one, though, probably will impact and so will Rip Apart. Academic Probation and Semester's End. We got more lessons to be learned here. Okay, choose one. Choose a non-land card name. Opponents can't cast spells with the chosen name until your next turn. White's good for slowing stuff down, all right? And we're going to do that also. Choose target non-land permanent. Until your next turn, it can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So, I mean, even something like this, really, you can slot into your Elder Dragon deck build over here, if you were playing in Standard, just to slow the opponent down. Slow them down. Reoccur this once you get them on the field. Play a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. Just pound the living crap out of them. Semester's End is fun. I'm not sure if it would slot into the same kind of deck, but it is cool. Really cool card. For 4, exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of the next end step, return each of them to the battlefield under its owner's control. Each of them enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature and an additional loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker. That's pretty spicy. Especially when you have stuff like Cyclonic Rift, like in EDH. Guess what? Well, that's an answer for Cyclonic Rift, because you just, whoop, instant bam, smack that puppy down. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen here. We're just going to bring all that stuff right on back in a little bit. Boom! And then you hit the battlefield, and you're the only one with a whole lot of crap on your side. Would feel good. Well, so the other guy. Yeah, okay. Anyway, pretty legit. I like Semester's End, and just all the +1/+1 counters, plus all those cards that have entering the battlefield, ETB, triggers. They're going to love this card as well. Planeswalkers, you know. Maybe you just used up your Planeswalker. You got it all the way down to 1 loyalty, you know, and your creatures or whatever. They have some, entering the battlefield triggers. You do that, splash, boom, comes back, bam, allow your loyalty on your Planeswalkers built back up. Haru. All right, pretty cool. I like that. Then we have Elite Spell Binder and Strict Proctor. Human Cleric over here to the far area. Yep. 3-drop Human Cleric flying. When Elite Spellbinder enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. What you got, bro? You may exile a non-land card from it for as long as that card remains exiled. Its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 more to cast. So again, slowing down your opponent. That's good though, because sometimes if your opponent needs to get out of Ugin, we have fun saying Ugin, it's an 8-drop, but now this makes it a 10-drop. That's pretty good, man. Let me make sure. You may exile a non-land card. Yeah, this has to be a non-land card. Doesn't matter what it is, other than it cannot be a land. So that would slow things down. Then it's a 10-drop Ugin. But not just for Ugin, just for anything else, you know. Maybe they have a board wipe in hand, and now they're going to need 6 mana, you know, or now in the meta 5 mana, depending, you know, to use that board wipe to kill your stuff. Well, guess what? Maybe that's all the time you need because you're aggro, and you just stalled them, and now, boom, you got the finishing blow, you close out the game. So pretty neat. Strict Proctor, 2-drop Spirit Cleric. Flying whenever a permanent enters the battlefield whenever a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability to trigger, counter that ability unless its controller pays 2. So this would not slot in too great with what we were just discussing a minute ago. But again, slowing opponents down, you know, some control, you know, it's mono white control. You're probably going to see some mono white control. Or just like hate decks and whatnot, you know, whatever the case may be. Good sideboard card at least, you know, stuff like that. Pretty cool, not too bad. Nothing crazy exciting here, but I like it. Little stall action. Blade Historian and a Freet Flame Painter. I haven't even read Flame Painter yet. But Blade Historian over here, attacking creatures you control have double strike. It's a 2/3, so I mean, it's going to die to a lot of stuff, you know, but it does give your creatures double strike. That's pretty impactful, and it's a cleric as well. Are you going to want to run this? I mean, this card is really, really cool, but we have seen planeswalkers that give all your creatures double strike, and they were not that impactful. They were at the 4-drop. Were they double strike? I think they were double strike. Were they double strike? No, one had haste. I think one of them did have. It gives everything double strike. I think. Okay, anyway, do some research, Joey. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. That's powerful. You give all your attacking creatures trample with it as well, you're going to win the game real quick. You know, but again, got to keep this thing on the battlefield, board wipes, all that good stuff, but a very fun card nonetheless to give the whole board double strike. Then we have Flame Painter. It's a 4-drop creature, Efreet Shaman, double strike. Again, whenever a Flame Painter deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile instead. The downside, you know, you got to exile it, you know. I understand. But the fact that you could play for free, baby, that is hot, man. When all you got to do, it doesn't matter how much damage it deals, it just has to deal damage. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. That could be anything. You know, that could be like ultimatums. What? Yeah, that's scary stuff, man. You know, I'm just saying. It could be any massive spell. Just slam it. It could be small spells, like the little Boris guy we just saw here. I went, oh, that was a while ago. Rip Apart, you know, bring that back. Whatever the case may be, bring back your Lorehold Command and a whole bunch of other fun shenanigans. Not bad. It is a 4-drop, though. It does have double strike, which is cool because, you know, for chump block's sake, but you still have to give it like a trample or something for that other hit to get to your opponent. Does not have haste, you know. That would make this card really good if it had haste. If it had haste and double strike, it would just be busted, but it's not. So, cool card. It is a really cool card. We will see. I like that it has 4 toughness. That's a huge factor. That I think was kind of its saving grace. So interesting card nonetheless. Then we have Lorehold Excavation and Returned Past Caller, our Excavator, or Excavation Boris colors. Enchantment at the beginning of your end step, mill a card. Okay. If a land card was milled this way, you gain 1 life. Okay. Otherwise, Lorehold Excavation deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay. For 5, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. The milling is cool. It works with everything else we just talked about with the recursion from Boris. Bringing stuff back, instant sorceries. Get a huge spell into your graveyard. Swing in with your little Efreet over here. Play that for free. Wow. We just annihilated our opponent. The game's over. It's cool. I mean, at first glance, Lorehold seemed kind of weak sauce, but then I'm like, that's not bad. Plus, it has a mana sink on it. For 5, you get a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Not bad. Over here, we have a Returned Past Caller, which has some crazy, interesting splash of hybrid mana casting cost. Spirit Cleric, flying, 6-drop. It's a 4/2. Flying when Returned Past Caller enters the battlefield. Remember, triggered abilities. Return target spirit, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. That seems like a lot, man. I mean, that cannot possibly see play unless they messed up on the casting cost of this thing, and it should be. I don't know what's going on with that. A 6-drop for that ability. Is it just me, or does that thing seem like it's just too weak? I mean, you're not going to be able to play that spell unless it's for free somehow, because you're paying 6 mana to get this Spirit Cleric on the battlefield. Unless you mix it with like that dragon or something like that, or the first card we talked about that returns creatures. It's hard to say. Maybe that's why they made the casting cost so high, because of that first card we discussed in this video. Anyway, I don't know about that. It's cool, an instant or sorcery card, but you're not playing it, So I don't know about that. I think that's pretty weak, but that's me. Illuminate History and Radiant Scroll Wielder. I have not read either of these. So for 4, the lesson over here learned: sorcery, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. That could be good. Then if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Again, dealing with spirits. We have another card I'm going to spoil that like spirits, and it's an elephant. How weird is that, huh? But this also goes with the recursion, getting instants, sorceries, whatever the case may be, into your graveyard, and then playing them for free with other cards that we've seen. So there's going to be a lot of that. Looks like we're looking to mill ourselves, if we're running Boris, get a bunch of really fancy stuff in the bin, try to cheat in our huge dragon. I don't know if that's even going to see competitive play. Maybe it will. We'll see. And just blow up the game. Boom. Radiant Scroll Wielder, 4-drop. Instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. That's cool. We have seen something like this before on... it was one of those promo cards. I should have pulled it up in the video. I apologize. But it had, instant sorcery spells, you control lifelink, and a whole bunch of other stuff. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get an exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. If a spell cast this way, it would be put into your graveyard, exile instead. That's not bad. Dwarf Cleric 2/4. Are dwarves going to really be a big deal? I don't know. The Cleric side, though, it's 4, Goes with them angel builds. Are we going to see a red-white angel in this set? Maybe. Did we already? No, I don't think so. Maybe we did. All right, I got to look at my spoiler videos again. I think that wraps it up, guys. Nope, just kidding. Go Blank and Quintorius Field Historian. Quintorius Field Historian. Got a ring to it. 5-drop. Here's the spirit you control. Get +1/+0. It's a legendary creature, Elephant Cleric. 2/4. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. So there you go. You recur a bunch of stuff. It's leaving the graveyard, going back into your hand, going back onto the battlefield. You're getting an additional 3/2 red and white spirit creature token from doing so. Whether it goes into exile from the graveyard, whatever the case may be, doesn't matter. That's some value there. But it's also steep, That's probably why it's 5-drop. That's pretty legit. Go blank is good. Target player discards 2 cards and exile all cards from that player's graveyard. I do like that. You know, definitely, I mean, a sideboard card at worst, or, you know, right? Unless the meta is just insane and we have to deal with graveyards left and right, which it looks like we're going to have to. Not too bad. That's cool. I like it. So, all right, that I think does it here. Yeah, okay, Strixhaven, School of Mages. We're starting to get a little fire up in here. You know, there are some pretty powerful cards. We're going to see some commander play and whatnot. Which card do you guys like the most? I talk a lot. I'm sorry. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a like for sure. I appreciate every like you guys dropping videos. It helps out a lot. And comment something. Let me hear from you. I'm Joey Moss, Bad Boy MTG. Get out of here. Skip douche.